everybody. Welcome back to Kiss My Cheeks TV. I am here with I should know which direction to point by now, my good friend, Charles Warren. We're here to talk about the Survivor finale. We hope you all have a good time in the chat. We have 3 hours worth of episode to go through in about 55 minutes. So let's just jump right into it, Charles. You ready?
I'm ready. It was a good show. So I'm
It
ready.
was
I'm happy with the outcome. So
I'm very happy with the outcome. I'm very happy with the outcome, especially after seeing that final tribal council. I was like,
mhm.
she the only one that really deserved to win. But that leads me to question number one to kick it off. Let's go back into the moments. We're at the moment where we first turn it on and we're excited that the final episode is getting ready to start.
Mhm.
At that moment, who did you feel was going to win the game if they didn't get that person out within these two tribals?
Hmm.
Did you
Ricard.
always feel Erica? Ricard is
Ricard.
an easy answer because I'll go first. I always felt if Ricard is there, he wins.
Mhm.
But after Ricard, I had Xander blinders on. Like I really felt that Xander had a strong game, but of course at the final he didn't know how to explain his game. But I was
Xander,
thinking,
he was a contender because we did our ranking and Xander was second.
mm-hmm,
Now, I always thought my boy Deshaun was not out of the race either. Because he was my preseason pick. So I was like, Deshaun can talk. So we never know. It always comes down to them questions and how they answer them. And we did say, remember, we said the most entertaining final would be those three.
it
If
would be
Ricard
those
was not
three.
there, it would be up in the air if it was those three. So we got what we wanted.
And a little behind the scenes, last night Charles texted me. He was like, it's almost a unanimous vote. And if we rewind a couple of videos, we said if it was those three, we thought the votes would be chopped. Like
Mm-hmm.
it would be anybody's game. So I was really surprised that it was almost a unanimous vote. Very surprised.
Me too. I'm shocked that he didn't get any votes
Mm-hmm.
because mid them talking, the fact that it seemed that Nasir was answering questions for him, and it seemed like he had Evie in his pocket. Like
Mm-hmm.
Evie was like nodding her head every time he spoke. So I was like, okay, so that little trio on the left, they're for sure going to vote for him. And I thought Erica and Deshaun were fighting for the other votes, but to see that Nasir, even after speaking up for Xander, didn't vote for him, I was shocked. So,
Mm-hmm. I was very shocked. I was wondering what the yellow team was going to do, and that none of the yellow team voted for Xander. But if you recall, you mentioned in a prior video that you felt like Evie would vote for a woman to win over a man.
mm-hmm. Yeah, she
So
kept talking about that, and the guys, Danny, Deshaun, Nasir, I believe, they were onto that, and that's why they kind of wanted to get at her, and that's why I knew Evie could have been an early out. Um, yeah,
who do you think was the Deshaun vote?
I think the Deshaun vote surprisingly was Heather. I think Heather was the one that voted for Deshaun because after um they kept the cameras rolling to get pizza and stuff, Heather was the only one to go directly to him and hug him. So I was like, oh, hmm,
Mm-mm.
was it Heather that voted for him? I don't
Can't
know.
be. I put my money on Danny,
Okay, Danny makes sense. Yeah, but
but
the fact that Heather was the only person that approached him, like to hug him or whatever, I was like, maybe she was his vote. Maybe.
some people are not thinking that was Danny because Danny was cheerleading for Erica.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was like, "You played the game I wanted to play, so congratulations." Maybe he did vote for Heather. I mean,
I don't know
Erika.
who the I don't know who the Deshaun vote was, but I guess he gets $100,000. That one vote got him
I
second.
guess. Did they
I'm
even
very,
say that? I didn't even see them say second place this time.
but they always have a second place.
Hmm. Do they?
It
Or
doesn't.
is that
It
Big
doesn't
Brother?
matter.
I don't know.
We not gonna focus on second. Let's rewind a little bit because I want to get into the meat and potatoes of this episode, which is pretty much the tribal council at Final Five, the fire making decision, and the final tribal council. Everything else you all watched, we don't really have to talk about because we don't have that much time. So, tribal council number one was the final five. It was between Ricard and Deshaun. They were the only ones on the table because Xander had Idol in his pocket. Erika won, and why would you ever vote out Heather? So, Ricard and Deshaun. Erika is level 10 pissed at Deshaun from the previous tribal council. So her anger had a little bit of blinders on. Ricard is the obvious threat. Ricard had a moment where he shared a little bit about his husband. Am I saying it right, Charles? His husband.
Technically, yeah, they are a trans man, so yes, husband. Hmm.
His husband is having a baby back home, and it could be right now, and he doesn't know. So, question number one: when people start giving those emotional speeches, do you think he did it to save his game, or was it genuine and it just totally completely tanked whatever little bit of hope he had to save his game?
I think I think it was a mixture of both, but I think it was heavy on the strategy because
Why share it now?
because this is the last ditch effort to see if Xander could use his idol on him.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he could really tug at his heartstrings, then he could get Xander to use the idol. But Xander is not. To me, Xander is not really a player. After the
Why did
tribal
he
and all
have
that
so much
talking and stuff,
narration then? Like Xander really, from the final maybe seven on, was narrating the game. He had
because
all the confessionals.
after the question and answers, I really thought about it, and he didn't do anything strategic other than that whole giving old girl the idol to hold and like bait and switching people out. That was the one. Other than that, he was literally chilling like furniture, just chilling.
I felt like Xander had a resume. He didn't know what he had. And his biggest move was giving that Tiffany the idol thing,
Mm-hmm.
but that happened too soon. That happened way too soon. He had some points of view, but he didn't know how to explain it. So
But
that's
what were okay, if you say that, what were his moves other than that? Like what could he have
well,
said?
let me say this first. This season to me was a season where you had to have a resume. Getting to the end was not going to be enough. Like I call it that bin syndrome, where if you went out, you found a couple of idols to save yourself. I don't think this cast cared anything about Xander just making it to the end because to me, the fact that Xander was a target from the beginning and he just slid under the radar like every other person with an idol was voted out with the idol in their pocket and no one ever tried to get Xander that way. I always felt like he was a threat. He had immunity wins, which I think this cast cared nothing about immunity wins. He had some strategic points of view when him, Ricard, Heather, and Erika banded together. He didn't know how to explain it. And I think he kind of gave Erika the credit for everything that happened at that final four pairing. So I thought Xander was the winner. for the longest.
I think he won maybe one
He won
immunity.
two. He won two immunities because he won one back then. He won maybe three because he won one
No
where he
way.
threatened to say he won one where he threatened to save
Because Ricard won
Evie.
three, so ain't no way he won the same number as Ricard.
Well, he won at least two because he won the last one. He won Final Four.
Final four? No, that was Erica.
No, Erika won Final Five. Xander won Final Four
Mm.
because he's the one who decided who makes fire and not.
Oh, okay, true. I'm trying to look it
I don't
up.
know. I
While
just felt like
we on the
Xander
fly.
had. Oh, I felt like Xander had a game. He just didn't know how to explain it. Very similar to Deshaun. I felt like Deshaun got to the Final Four and got stage fright, or the Final Three and got stage fright.
I th- I think the girls clocked him. Deshaun was so flabbergasted by the questions, the way the questions were pointed at him, that he was not ready for that. He was not ready for the question that Ricard threw at him. He was not ready for that Shan question. Definitely not.
Mm-mm.
So it was
I
like,
want to dig into that Shan question, but let's go ahead and get to the fire making so we can dig into these questions. The fire
okay,
making decision, Xander's point of view, which that was a strategic point of view of the game where that had to be pulled out of him. His decision was he felt like Erika had the best resume, so he didn't want her to make fire to add to her resume. So he put in Deshaun and Heather. I thought that was a good idea, but then he learned Erika really don't know how to make fire, so maybe I should jump in there and beat her, which I thought would have been an even better strategy, but he didn't pull at it.
right. But I don't blame him for that. I don't blame him
Right.
for not
I don't
for
blame him
throwing it,
either.
because people did the same thing to Natalie on season 40. Because season 40, Natalie won the last challenge or whatever, and they were like, "Why didn't you put yourself in against Tony to do fire?" Da 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 da. And I'm thinking like, she has the necklace around her neck. Why would she throw herself in?
Why
Y'all
would you
can't
ever put
say,
yourself at jeopardy?
right. You can't say her whole game was bad because she didn't throw herself in the fire. Like, people kept using that as an excuse not to vote for her. But I would never. If I had that final necklace, I'm not doing fire. Because that day, the wind could be blowing, that knife could be dull. So anything could happen to where
Anything
your
could
fire
happen.
ain't flicking.
Hmm.
So, yeah. So, how did you feel
Because
about the
Xander
fire
just knew
making?
Heather was going to win. I thought the fire making was extremely exciting. Just the back and forth of it all. I was like, okay, Deshaun, go ahead and pack this shit up. And then Heather had it. And I was like, well, damn, look at Heather. And then Deshaun had it again. I was just like, this is amazing. Like, I don't like blowouts. I love it when it's close like that.
Yeah, I'm very shocked by the outcome, because Heather's fire was almost lit the whole time.
The whole
Like,
time.
why is this rope not burning? Like, why is it not doing anything? And his, as soon as it like went up again, it just. I'm
They said
like,
Heather's fire was a little bit too, she built it a little bit too far ahead of the rope.
mm-hmm.
So that's why it wasn't hitting. And Deshaun's fire was right underneath the rope. That's why when it started, it was right there. So, like you said, anything could happen. You could have your fire a little bit to the left and you could be out of luck. I agree.
And they say those fire making things are harder than doing it on the island, because when you're out at camp, you have like that big machete, so you're practicing with a big blade. And when you go to the actual fire making, they give you a little, like a little knife.
A knife.
So it's not even like, the feel of doing it is not the same. That's like shooting a free throw with a football versus like a basketball. It's not gonna roll off your hand the same. So,
Do you
mm-mm.
think he should have put Erika down there? Like, say, throw in Erika and Heather since you think they have the same game.
No, to be honest, when he was in his confessionals and he said he wants to put in Deshaun and Heather, have Heather take out Deshaun. So his goal was to get Heather and Erika in the final three, so the jury could look at them as equal. Like, oh, they got the same resume. It like X's them out. But he didn't say that to the jury. He didn't say
He
that
didn't say
part.
it to after. He
Yeah.
should have said
So
it before.
so it was like what he should have done was put Erika and
And
Deshaun in
Deshaun,
fire. And then Deshaun probably would have won. It'd have been him, Deshaun, and Heather. But then, even then, I don't know if he would have won because the way that that jury was defending Heather and like going for
and
Heather.
Erika. I think that's what soured the jury to Xander. When in before even the fight, when he was like, when Deshaun called out Erika, the jury had a screw face, so I just felt like they didn't respect her game. Shan, all the women of the jury was looking like, what is he talking about? Like, we respect Erika's game. So Xander read the jury wrong, I feel. Like he had the wrong read of the jury. He felt like Erika wasn't going to get any votes, and they highly respected Erika's game. Now, let's play devil's advocate for a second, Charles, because I want to call this out. I don't think Heather, if Erika was in the jury and it was Deshaun, Heather, and Xander, I don't think Heather would have got the same respect as Erika, and I don't think Heather could have explained the game the way Erika did because I really don't feel like Heather did anything in the game strategic.
I I agree. I think the votes would have been more split if it was Heather, but again, there's a women's thing going on because
Mm-mm.
when, yes, if you were watching facial responses, when Xander said something about, was it Xander? Somebody
He
said
was
something.
giving Heather preps like everyone thought Heather was the GOAT and we would drag her to the
Yeah,
end, but
when
Heather
he
and
said that,
yeah.
the camera turned to Liana and them, and they were like, no, we don't see Heather like that. So
They a lie.
to me, that would have threw me off because in my mind, I was like, Heather ain't done shit. But the way y'all reacting is like, no, we like Heather. We think she's good. To me, that would be like, damn, do I want her to be here? I don't.
If Heather would have won this season, the jury would have a lot of explaining to do. It would have been a complete bitter jury. It would have been a complete feminist jury.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have been like, what game were y'all watching? Did we watch the same competition show?
Now, what if, like we said, what if Erika and Deshaun did fire and Erika did beat Deshaun in fire? It would have been a sweep for Erika, I think.
Well, hell, it already was a sweep. The only difference, she would have probably had all the votes, and Danny wouldn't have gave Deshaun a throwaway vote.
Do you think Xander could have, like, if he would have answered the questions differently, he would have won?
I don't understand why Liana asked him, what was it? What social awareness
Awareness. Mm-hmm.
did you have in the game to make a move? I'm like, Xander, your biggest move was social awareness when I don't know if it was Danny or Evie. I don't know who told Xander that Liana knows, told Xander about Liana's advantage. That was your social awareness. You were socially involved enough in the game for someone to tell you what Liana is getting ready to do so you could give your idol to Tiffany.
It was Shan that exposed
Shan.
that Liana knew something.
Yeah. Like that was your social
Like we said,
awareness.
Shan was playing bad the whole game.
Like
um,
he didn't maybe he doesn't
but still,
understand what
that's not to
social
me. That's not
awareness
his
is.
social awareness. I think by social awareness, they want to know: did you know the connections between different people? Do you know the relationship between me, that person, and that person. Did you know that we were?
He didn't know.
He didn't
Xander
know
was just
none of
holding
that.
on week to week. And like he said, I was reading the room to see if I had to play my idol or not. I was just reading the Vibe of Tribal Council, and that was it. He wasn't aware. He was just holding on.
Yeah, he wasn't playing.
Which,
He wasn't playing. He was not playing the whole board. He was just looking at his one square. To be honest,
but what can you do when you have nobody? Like to me, I think that's
what you mean? That was what's his name? Ricard. Ricard was the down out guy at one point when it was the four black people and Ricard was in that group and they were ready to get Ricard
but he
out.
was still in the group. And
But he
if
was
it
he
wasn't
was the one on
for
the bottom.
Shan, but if it wasn't for Shan wanting to keep Ricard, Ricard would have been gone.
No, if it wasn't for Deshaun wanting to get rid of Shan.
No, if Liana, when Liana told Shan it's Ricard tonight, if Shan would have, if Shan would have had the energy that Ricard had and would have been able to let him go at that vote, Ricard would have left at that vote. But Ricard wanted to save Shan, and she wanted to have the Black People Alliance. And so that's when Ricard was like, well, let me flip it on her. Let me let her go before she let me go. So if everybody would have kept their mouth shut and just rolled with the plan and let Ricard go at that moment, he would have been gone. Xander was holding on, but like I said, in seasons of the past, holding on could win you the game. Because
But
something has
Xander
to.
was but what I'm saying is Xander was not playing the game. Xander was waking up, doing the competition, going to bed. Xander was not socializing. Xander was not creating a line. He was just the extra person added to that four. Erika started that four. He was not the
Erika and Ricard started
originator
that for.
of
I
any
agree.
like strategy of moving puzzle pieces. He didn't do none of that. He just woke up, went to bed, wait for tribal, woke up, went to bed. He was just there.
I agree. He became a number. Like, I'm at the bottom. All of us bottom feeders are getting together. And if he maybe would have made some kind of move amongst those four bottom feeders, then he could have padded his resume. But he was just a vote. Whatever Ricard and Erika said, that's what he did. But why would you go against it?
He ain't got to go against it, but at least in the meeting, say something. Say, oh, let's get this one out or something. He didn't say nothing. There was no
Or at least be
initiative.
the first one to throw a name out. You know
Right.
it's one of the Black people. Throw one of their names out.
Right. You already got the numbers, so at least just say somebody. Like, god dang, just
Yeah, I
and then the
agree.
fact that he didn't use his idol in a strategic way. He could have done something with that idol somewhere to save
Let's
a
talk about
ally.
that moment. Let's talk about that moment. When Xander got up and played his idol, pretending like I'm gonna play it to ruin you guys' moment. I'm gonna save Ricard with this idol. But then he then turns around and says, oh, but I don't want a souvenir, Jeff. Just go ahead and play it for me. Do you think that is what flipped Ricard's vote? Because why pretend like you're gonna play it for me? Tell me you might play it for me, and then make this dramatic moment,
Right.
and then play it for yourself, knowing I'm still going home. Like that would turn me off. Like you could have had a souvenir. Like you could have kept a souvenir. You didn't have to make this spectacle at tribal.
Yeah, that's true. And also, can't forget Tiffany asked him, like, were you not even thinking of saving anybody else that was on your like original whatever they group Luhu? Was it Luhu's? I don't know.
The yellow, you know I don't know
The
the
yellow
names.
tri
I know the
yeah,
colors.
Tiffany asked was like, were you not even in the mind state to save one of your numbers?
But to be fair, if Xander would have saved somebody with that idol, he would have went home. The only thing that kept Xander in the game is the threat that he has an idol that he could pull.
Yeah, but Xander didn't do anything to keep his numbers in the game. That goes back to him just
They
floating
flipped on
around.
each other. Like he did all these theatrics to save Evie. And then the very next episode, they both flipped on each other.
And out of
So
all people, why Tiffany go? Tiffany is not nobody's threat.
Tiffany
Out of
would
all
have got.
people.
Tiffany probably was on people's nerves
Yeah,
because she
probably.
was on my nerve through the TV.
Mm, yeah. So. Mm-mm.
But let's get to the question at hand. The question that we both were highly entertained by. I'm so proud of Shan for asking this question. Did you
Mm-mm.
use the movement to hijack the Black people's game? Now I already know for a fact that he didn't. I know that he didn't. I feel like production used the movement to hijack a lot of storylines because that anyway. Because if it was a movement, JD wouldn't have left and Abraham wouldn't have left. So let's stop
Yeah,
it
but
with that.
he never played with those people. The Black people he played with all
Shan
went
did.
home. All went home after the thing. After this movement. All
So the
after the
movement
movement
only
established.
began at the merge. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, they didn't. There was no Black people's group until the four of them got together. There was no Black people coalition.
What I want to say is I'm so happy Shan asked that question. I kind of knew the answer. I do believe Deshaun maybe unwillingly, like subconsciously, he used the movement, Black people working together, to gain trust amongst the four. But Deshaun never had any loyalty to Shan once he saw that Shan was the face of the movement. Like if Deshaun was the face of the four, it would have been a four. But once he wasn't the face of it, he wanted to continue to talk about it, but he was always going to get rid of Shan. But by him constantly preaching about it, I believe Shan. I believe Shan would have went to the four and she would have did a comeback thing where even if I go home first, it's the four. I believe Shan. Deshaun never had that in his heart.
Right. But that is the thing. So you do think he used it to hijack the game because I
Subconsciously,
I think that I think what
I
she
don't think it
meant
was his motive.
I think what she meant also is bigger than what you're saying. I don't think it was just about the four. I think it's the performative activism thing of it. The fact that we waited to tribal to have this big moment
Mm-hmm.
so America can see you talking about it and you can cry with no water coming out your eyes and all of that
And the
performing.
confessionals, Lord, the
That's what
confessionals.
I think that's what she means by you hijack the game. Because even at that point, Shan is gone already. Shan is already in the jury, but you're performing for the cameras. And for somebody like me that's about the shits, if I saw something like that happening and I know you ain't about that life, I couldn't sit quiet. I can't sit still. I can't. They would be like Charles, Mike 3, cut his mic off, something. It would just I understand what she's saying because I think it's bigger than just them four. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, why are you performing for these cameras? Like, you trying to do something for Twitter? You trying to perform so you can get some follows and likes?
I also like that Shan pointed out that you had temper tantrums. What did she say? Temper tantrums, and you act
Mm-hmm.
spoiled. I like the way Shan read Deshaun down. She read Deshaun down in a very polite way. Like, no, you weren't just upset. You were throwing a tantrum. You were acting like a 2-year old during many tribal councils. You were hard to work with.
Mm, I'm glad she spoke. I'm so glad she spoke up, and I'm so glad that she is aware enough of the game. Because I feel like sometimes people, when they get eliminated, they just like, okay, whatever. The game is over. I lost. So, but you can tell
But
she was locked into the game.
because most of his performance was towards Chin, I
Mm-hmm.
felt like Deshaun knew if he can't win over Shan, he's not going to win over anybody in the jury. So he was constantly performing to Shan, like, it wasn't just me, Ricard snaked you too, and I'm doing this for the black people, and I really don't want to vote out Liana, but like, blah, blah, blah.
My
It's like,
sisters.
right, like he was performing to them. So she couldn't check out of the game because every week you saw Shan, Liana rolling their eyes at what Danny was talking about. Like, not Danny, but whatever his name was, Deshaun.
Deshaun.
Now, Danny surprised me because that Angie, I thought he was just a dumb jock. I didn't think he was as well spoken as he was. I felt like Danny was the speaker of the jury. Like, he was very well spoken in his questions. He made sure everyone answered his questions. And then he championed Erika at the end.
I still don't think he's like this articulate strategist. No.
He might not have been the best
But
strategist,
I do
but he's
think
very articulate.
I think he had his questions down. They have
I
plenty
like
of
Danny.
they have plenty of sleep and food now. They can think of their questions. So yeah.
Yeah. What was another good question that you liked at the final travel?
I think we covered all of it. I just the Deshaun moment of first him talking about the group and all that, and the first jab at him was Ricard, because Ricard was like, I remember it differently. Like,
Yes.
working with you was very, like you said, the tantrums and like kind of babysitting and all that.
Because he had to be the voice. If he wasn't the face, if he wasn't the voice, Deshaun was upset. He was a 2-year-old.
Yeah, he was still that after he lost. He was like rolling his eyes and stuff at the
He was
end.
upset that he lost. I think he could tell by the energy of the jury he wasn't winning this.
By them questions, yeah. Them black people you thought may have voted for you. Mm-mm.
Not at all. You completely turned all of them off. And I still don't know if Danny voted for him, but I'm going to say I think Danny was his vote.
Mm.
But why
So,
champion Erika and then vote for Deshaun?
so how do you feel overall about? I don't. You say you don't watch a whole bunch of the seasons.
I watch all the seasons of
Okay.
Survivor.
Yeah. So how do you feel about Erika as a winner? Like, how do you feel she stands up towards the other winners?
I think Erika is a great winner. I don't think she's like a top 5 or a top 10, but she's definitely like not a Heather winning. She's not that. So, I mean, I think Erika played a really good game. I think production did Erika a disservice by not showcasing her more on the show and showcasing what she was doing. Like, they were so wrapped up in Shan and Ricard and Deshaun that we really didn't get to see Erika. Like Qua said, she didn't get a winner's edit. Like, I always thought Erika was just playing from behind, but sometimes, like Erika said, I was always on the right side of the vote. I was always in the know. And when it was time for me to strike, I did. And I think the main thing that saved Erika's game, and mind you, anybody on that blue team as a winner was going to get a soft edit because the blue team for the first half of the game were not playing the game because they
Right.
never had to go to tribal. So the blue team didn't even start playing into the merger. And then Erika, I don't think it's a resume item, but Erika changed the course of the game with that smashing the hourglass thing because if Erika didn't smash that glass, she was going home.
Yeah. And if we go
So
back, if we rewind all the way back, that's when I was like, okay, I'm now looking for her. I am. She's an underdog, but I am looking to see where she goes. And you were looking at me like, mm. You were like, I put her
I
at the
would
bottom.
now if
She
y'all
was
saw
at
my
one. She
cast
was one of the
assessment,
ones at the
she was the
bottom of
first
your
one to
list.
go.
Yeah.
Erika was the first one to go when I did the cast assessment. But she grew on me. Like I said, the blue team didn't do anything the first half of the game. So they couldn't even start their resume into the merger.
But to be honest, that is a resume. The fact that your group was working well together enough to win all the way to the merge, that should be a part of your speech. Why are y'all not talking about that? Why are y'all not talking about we did these? And that's something else you can connect with those people in the jury about. Like when we were working together, yeah, on the second challenge, da, 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 like winning group
No,
competitions,
because
that's a
were they
part of
working
your
together?
resume.
They asses was trying to lose a challenge and still couldn't even lose. The other two tribes just sucked. They were trying to throw challenges and still won.
Deshaun and Danny were trying to throw. The rest of them were not. Now, that shows another thing about how snaky he is.
True. Very true. But I enjoy Erica as a winner. I think she's very well deserved. Erica, if you the little edit that she got, everything every time Erica opened her mouth was gameplay. She was constantly coming up with strategy. Even if she didn't have the numbers, she was always talking strategy to people. So Erica was out there playing the game.
Yeah, but I think like if I'm thinking about the winners, especially the people that I particularly know, and just seeing season 40, the all winner season, I would if we took all 41 winners. Well, it's not 41 winners. It's like 30 something because some people have won more than once. Um, if we take them, I would put her in the bottom half of all of the winners. If you take all winners, mind you, these are people that won their season, not just random players. I would put her in the bottom half of winners, um, because I still don't even think she was the best player on her season. But
She
because the
wasn't.
because the
Shan
best
and
player was
Ricard
out,
were the best players.
but
Ricard should
right.
have won. Shan is the most likable. Shan would have won if she was at the end. I really feel like this season doesn't reward. I still am in my heart. I felt like Xander. I thought Xander was gonna win. Um, I don't know. I never kind of thought Deshaun would have won. I didn't see it for Deshaun, Danny, or Liana.
Deshaun completely rubbed me the wrong way, but it was something about him. I called it preseason. I was like, this guy is going to be in the final. I was like, there's something about him. I was like, this is my preseason pick. But his personality just
His
flipped.
personality.
His real
Deshaun had
self came
excellent
out.
strategy, but he has like an awkwardness to him, like a corniness to him, and that's no shade. But he has a corniness to like he was always doing something a little bit like, what are you doing? Like, why are you like when he came back trying to explain his vote to somebody, and I was like,
Mhm.
why are you talking like this? Like, so
Yeah, he gives me like kid that was never popular vibes. He really gives me that to where when he's in moments of confrontation, he does not know how to talk to people. He says stuff that is like really nasty. Like he says nasty things that he either thinks it's funny or it's going to come off a certain way, and it does not.
I agree. And he's like, instead of standing in what you said, he goes back
Mhm.
and begs for like he wants approval from people. He wants to be liked. Like I want everybody to like me. And it's a game. Stand in what you said. Stand in what you did.
I don't even know if he wants to be liked. I just feel like he doesn't want to take responsibility, so he backpedals and points. Well,
Yeah.
Ricard did this. Well, Shan did that first. Shan was talking about me first. Well, we needed that.
But
He does that.
that's a 2 year old.
Backpedaling, yeah.
So and so hit but he hit me first. So and so talked about me. Oh, but they called me something first. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I didn't like Deshaun after the merger. He kind of irritated me, so I didn't think he would win. But this jury really surprised me. I just didn't see them going in the direction that they went.
Right. I agree. Overall, I still think this was a bad season. Um,
There you go.
the season, whew, this season
Well,
was
you have a
rough.
friend, Charles. You have a friend.
This season was rough. Like the format was bad, the twists were bad, the casting was questionable, the editing, like who they chose to be on camera all the time, that was questionable. A lot of the competitions, even it was just like, okay.
I am not going to agree with 100% of that. For me, I enjoyed season 41. I'm just such a Survivor fan. If you put it on my TV, I'm going to watch it and love it.
That don't mean it's
I
good. That just
is
means
that
you
like because
are
I
not
enjoyed the
judging it
game in
critically.
this. No, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a strategic season. Um, the things that I didn't like were the production of it, the people they chose to have confessionals. Like I wish we would have got more Erica confessionals, especially since she won. Like, why is Xander narrating the game if Erica won? Um, I did not like Advantage Mountain, where everyone climbed a mountain every week to get some kind of advantage. None of the advantages fell through. None of the idols fell through. This season was team too much. Jeff, you tried to explain it, but I don't care. Go back to regular Survivor.
Oh, I hated
I
that too. I hated the fairy tale feel of it, where it was like every scene Jeff walked out first. Today
right,
on the competition, we're gonna walk
right.
through this woods, and they don't even know that it's coming from the bushes. That shit was
Jeff,
whack too.
stop. And I don't like all the politically correct changes. If you want to
Mm-hmm.
change something because people are complaining about it, just change it. Don't come out and ask people to vote, then they vote, and then the next week somebody say, "Oh, I didn't mean to vote the way I voted," and then we
Right.
still go like,
Don't call us
if
guys
people are
anymore. Yeah.
emailing CBS about something being offensive, and you get enough emails, just change it
Right.
because that aggravates me.
Yeah, and I feel like even the do or die was random. That was random.
Yeah,
It's like they just threw random shit in there. The fucking broccoli and the goats and the trees, all
don't
that
do
was
that
just
shit no
so.
more.
That
Don't do
was.
that anymore. I don't want to. If I found my idol, let me be able to keep it in peace. So maybe we might use an idol every once in a while. This was the biggest season of sharing information. We've
Yeah.
never seen so much information shared between a cast. Like, can we keep a couple of secrets next season? I would like to see a couple of good blind sides. We didn't get a good. It was team too much in 41.
But to that you have a comment saying reality cancel culture. I don't think cancel culture ruined reality TV. I think that um people. I think the powers that be are trying to be ahead of being canceled. So they are making things sensitive before anybody even talks about it. Like the whole come on in you guys. Nobody has ever thought that was offensive. But Jeff brought it up and is like, "Well, you guys, if this part makes anyone offended, I'm willing to change it." Nobody said nothing about it. So Jeff ruined it by bringing it up, making it seem like, oh, somebody was talking about it. Nobody was thinking about that.
Nobody was thinking about that. And if Jeff would have came on the show and said everybody come in, I wouldn't have known the
Right.
difference. Because I ain't
It ain't
checking for
that
Jeff
deep.
like that. If it ain't tribal council, I'm not checking for Jeff and his nonsense.
And the over performative, like every time somebody talk about something, we don't need like tribal council. When they talked about the black people being ostracized and being hard to win in the game or whatever in tribal, we did not need y'all to spend 25 minutes on that talking to every single like literally they made sure they showed every single person's opinion. We didn't need that. We didn't need
Mm-mm.
it. Didn't need it. Didn't ask
Because
for it.
honestly, it's probably harder for a woman to win Survivor than a black person.
Hmm. It's probably harder for an Asian person to win because they don't get casted. They get casted less than us.
Right. They get casted less. But isn't Erika Asian?
Right, but she's the first Asian woman to ever win.
And she's the first Canadian woman and the first
No, she's
woman
the
in
first
7 years. Oh,
Canadian
Canadian
ever to win.
period. Okay.
Hmm.
So I'm happy for Erika.
She's
Um
checking boxes for them on that diversity
she is.
list.
I'm happy for Erika, and she deserved it. I don't want to take the she deserved it out of there.
I think the last Asian winner technically is Natalie, because Natalie um she's technically Asian.
I thought she was Indian.
Yeah, India is in Asia, so Indians are considered South Asians.
Okay, don't get me started because I don't want to say nothing incorrect. I don't want to say anything incorrect, so I will just
Sri
agree.
Lanka. I think that's where she's from. Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka.
Yes.
Yeah. So she's technically Asian. So she wait. So wouldn't that make her the first Asian woman winner? Okay, let's
Charles,
keep
I'm just happy for Erika now. Look, I ain't trying to go down a rabbit hole because I don't know. I'm happy Erika won. Now
Or
I
maybe
know.
Erica's the first Filipino. She's the first Filipino winner, I think. Filipinos was killing it this year. Cause girl, that album I told you about, Sour by Olivia Rodrigo, she's Filipino. Did you even listen to it? You ain't listened to it. Anyway, she Filipino. She probably about to win album of the year at the Grammys.
I don't know who this child is. I ain't
Now
never heard that song in life.
the album is called Sour. You need to listen to it. She's the new girl on the block.
Okay.
And now Erika won. They got a Filipino winner over there. Mm.
Congratulations, Erika. At the end of the day, you deserved it. I don't care what nationality, what sex. Erika played a good game.
Yeah,
I liked
I
Erika's
agree.
game. So that's about it. They wish they would have showed Erika's relationship with others besides Heather. And right, because Ricard and Erika had this whole love affair at the final tribal council, and I ain't hardly ever see Ricard talk to Erika. But it is what it is.
And Xander, why they try to make Xander seem so young?
He is
Xander's
young.
Xander's 20.
That's young. You can't even drink at 20.
So, but I'm saying they tried to make it seem like he was like 16. The way they was talking about him, like, oh my gosh, you're the youngest ever. Like, I'm like, girl, relax. Y'all talking about y'all making it seem like he doesn't. It's like, oh, we can't expect him to think he's, he's that young. No,
A lot of young players do really good. I mean, I like
it
Xander.
says he's 21.
Well, he
CBS
could drink now.
on his I said biology biography says 21.
Good for him.
That ain't that young. That's young, but that's not like, oh my god, he's too dumb to function young. Like no.
No, 21. If you can drink, you can function. But that's all I have to give, Charles. You have anything else to give?
um, I didn't love the season. Angie loves anything that comes on
I love
TV.
all Survivor. I enjoyed the season.
She
I
loved
enjoyed
it.
Erika as a winner.
We had
Just
a
less
whole
advantages.
list
It was
of
too
things we
many
didn't like.
advantages.
Yeah.
Too many advantages. Somebody said in the comments, I can't see, I think it was Qua. They said the cast for next season looks really good. We shall see. Because I
Yeah.
think next season will be up before we know it.
Yeah, because I remember I told
After,
y'all, I think they actually think they recorded that season first.
yeah, it's after Big Brother winter season. Whatever Big Brother gonna do, Survivor will be on right after that. So, and if you
Celebrity
love
Big Brother?
Survivor, yeah, whatever they do in the wintertime, Celebrity Big Brother, then Survivor will be
Are
right
they
on.
actually going to do it? I haven't
That's
heard
what they
nothing about
say.
it.
They say it's about to be Amazing Race, which starts in January, then Celebrity Big Brother, then that next season of Survivor.
I don't believe that. Because winter ends in like February, March. March is
They
spring.
probably, but Celebrity Big Brother isn't that long. It's about 4 weeks, maybe three
Um,
weeks. It's not that long. I really don't care about Celebrity Big Brother. It all depends on who they have
who
on
on
the
there?
show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to review Amazing Race because to me, that's not a reviewable show
That show's
because
whack.
it's not a lot of drama. And I like to at least talk about strategy and drama. It's kind of if you could perform that week or not. But when Survivor is back, me and Charles will be back.
Yeah, and if I'm not on this season of Big Brother, I'll be back to maybe review that. Yo, what if I get on on Big Brother?
I'll be rooting for you. And
That
whenever
would
they
suck.
have
I said
votes, I'll
suck.
vote.
It would be hard for it to have back to back black winners. Yeah, right.
I forgot somebody black won already.
I'd be like, damn, they're gonna make it hard for me. God damn.
What's up with everybody mad at Tiffany for taking a picture with Evil Dick?
I don't know. Evil Dick was definitely cheering her on while she was in the house. She said that was one of her favorite players in the house. So I don't know.
Right? They saying she a sellout because she took a picture with Evil Dick, and I'm like, I didn't know Evil Dick was hated. I thought people liked him.
He's problematic, but
He was problematic then. That's why people liked him.
right. They need to get over it. First of all, to me, when you're on these reality shows, just being on one season, that does not make you a celebrity. You are not a celebrity. So why are y'all so gung ho on who they taking
Oh, they
pictures
said
with?
Evil Dick is racist. Is he?
That's what they say, but that don't make it true.
I don't know. I don't follow him
Because he was definitely rooting
as
for her. He was rooting for her hard this season. Well, last season.
I wouldn't know. I don't follow Evil Dick, but when it comes to Big Brother players, he is one of my favorite as well because I like old school Big Brother and I like
Mm-hmm.
hot shit talkers and people. He was great at the game. So I don't know. I don't follow him to know if he's racist or not. It's a lot of racist people out here in this world that we don't
Right.
even know about that we socialize with every day. So please leave Tiffany alone. She's a fan of Evil Dick. A lot of people are. She took a picture with him. Let it be. Oh, Marlon is trying to tell us we gotta go. The challenge starts at 7:30.
That's why he came. Hello.
We do be on here talking. Yes, let's go, Charles, so I can
My stomach hurt.
we could get set up for the next review. Please jump over. It was finale night on the Challenge 37. The trio will be back. We're gonna find out the winner of the season. I'm not gonna say anything because I'm the only one that knows the final tally. And we're gonna have a good time over here on the challenge with the trio. So you all like this video. If you're watching this on the repeat, get in your comments and get in the comments. Let me know what you think about the final episode of Survivor. And me and Charles will be back for
and
season 42.
if
They're gonna drop
yeah,
the 4 and add the 2.
not if it's the same girl.
We might do drag race. Don't hold us to it. We ain't promising. But
And you don't even want to do the cast review.
I do want to do the cast review, but we'll talk about that off camera. So
Okay,
anyway,
little Kim.
what little Kim do?
Cover of the magazine with her man. Is it zoomed in? Yeah. They look
Um,
good.
okay, I gotta see it in focus. But anyway, we
They
about
look
to go.
good.
We'll catch y'all with the trio in a few minutes. Bye.
Oh, that's Nick Cannon.